My sister catches men staring at women's butts. Just wanted to share this hilarious story my sister told me yesterday. She told me she picked up the habit a few years ago of any time she sees a man checking out a woman's butt body, she stares at him for as long as it takes for him to make eye contact with her. She said they always have an awkward, ashamed look away moment, and it brings her so much joy. I was cackling. She was hanging out with 2 other couples last week, and her husband's friend kept staring at the other friend's wife, and she even did it to him, so not just for strangers. Ruthless. I'm obsessed. That's all. Edit to add JFC. Can't believe I have to add this at all in this sub, but if you don't understand the difference between checking out another person quickly and leering at someone for extended periods of time like they're a meal, you need to reassess the way you look at people, women. And this extends to all people in all situations. Men, women, humans. If you're staring at someone's ass for so long and so much that another person notices you doing it, and you don't notice a person staring right at you because you're still locked on a person's ass, I would say that you've stared for too long. Had a date ask me if I'd consider implants. I have smaller boobs, not flat-chested, and I declined. He then went on and on about how he just likes big boobs, and I used that opportunity to play armchair psychologist and talk to him about the breastfeeding habits he had with his mother. Shut that one right up. If you are looking long enough for someone else to notice, and hard enough that you don't notice them staring at you, aren't looking at a butt, you're being rude. And I feel like some folks felt called out. Lol. Keep the glance the same length for exceptionally attractive people as you would for an exceptionally tall, dark, pale, short, hairy, scarred, blemished, amputated, or whatever person. The key that made it all click for me when I was young was this: it's not about the thoughts in your head or even where your eyes wander. It's about how your behavior affects other people. If they're catching you staring, your feelings are no longer internal. You've externalized them and made someone else uncomfortable. Honestly, what your sister does would actually help guys who want to be decent people recognize their own behavior. In a way, she's doing 'em a favor. Lol at the comments. It's okay to look at butts, yeah. That's probably not what OP was getting at. Guys, there's a difference between a subtle appreciation of a bodily feature in public and blatantly and uncomfortably staring at someone's butt like a piece of meat. I do this too. They are sometimes so creepy when they are right next to their family. Also, I believe this habit helps to watch out for women and girls. I recently saw one solo man at a bus stop staring aggressively at an elementary-aged little girl. I waited until she and her mom got on the bus and left him behind. He looked like he wanted to eat her. It was scary. My younger sister was very good at this, and she had the perfect disgusted look on her face. I can't even describe it. It just was the sort of disgust reserved for mothers disappointed in their children, and she would have random guys walking past scratching their balls, just apologizing for being gross. Lol. I used to do that, but then the men would get hostile. TBH. Came back from a walk not 10 minutes ago. The guy jogged backwards to watch me walk my dog. So obvious. When I was a little girl, I would stand in front of my mom and cross my arms and glare at any creeps staring at her. They sure don't like being stared at back. This comment section is so revealing of people's creepiness. JFC. And this is why I cover my butt. Some men are just obsessed and don't care. They make you uncomfortable. Thank you to your sister. Saluting face. Admiration versus a violation. I do this too. It's great seeing that pervy spark of joy leave their body. I just don't look at people ever. It's terrifying. Men who do that are disappointing. Stare? No. Admire? Yes. I do this too from time to time. Then when our eyes meet I'd shake my head. Like if you like how someone looks, give them a polite then I remember women usually aren't seen as people to many men. My dad has a neuromuscular condition. And people often stare at the way he walks. I do exactly the same. Cross my arms. Stare at the person until they feel uncomfortable and go away. I do this to make sure my dad doesn't see them staring and feel uncomfortable and because I love how ashamed and confused people look. I do that to men looking women up and down on the street. My other trick is to sit next to someone who manspreads on public transport and also manspread until they push their legs in. I've done this for years. Especially satisfying at the gym. I'm a frequent flyer and the airline lounge is an especially rich environment for this behavior. I do the same as your sister W. The 50-yo first-class white males leering over their scotch. I'm a dude for what it's worth. Fuck the patriarchy. Reminds me of a scene in Lauren Groff's book, Monsters of Templeton, during which a woman is having a serious legal conversation with a lawyer who won't stop ogling her chest. And when preparing to leave she grabs her left tit and shakes it in lieu of a wave while saying, "Goodbye. Love this. Your sister is a national treasure. I aspire to be more like her. What a total badass." I did this a few weeks ago and after the shock wore off I could tell he thought the way I did it was funny and almost appreciated it. Lol. Oh, I'm going to do this. Lol. Ha. I do this. I like that. Let's make it a national habit. Marvel's stare down. I approve. My husband and I point out nice butts to each other. Hockey players are stacked. I love this. There was a TikTok video a while ago where this girl with a great butt stuck her phone in her back pocket with the camera on and recorded people checking her out. The reactions were pretty hilarious and a lot of them were from women as well if I recall. Pro tip: use the reflection of the glass in doors' windows to see where their eyes are when they're walking behind you. When I see guys doing the predatory stare, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Rather than the "there goes a beautiful woman" stare, I'll put myself in between them and stare down the guy. I'm in NYC. So lots of pedestrian action and lots of opportunity. Haha. I want to see this on YouTube. I'm human. I'm going to take a glance or two, but if you're straight gawking at it then yeah, that's weird. If I took a glance and then was being laser beamed I'd just laugh. Can backfire on couples if they both look. As a bartender, when I'm not busy, I like to do this to people starting at the servers. It's like they can feel me starting at them and eventually look up. And we lock eyes. Then I just give them a big smile and laugh to myself. I'm a straight woman and I check out butts. If it's a good butt I am hella appreciative. I have done this open mouth smile. I look at butts. My wife's butt is still better to look at. And suddenly I'm not so sad about being ugly head to toes. But for real. If others notice, it's definitely gotten out of hand. Nothing wrong with checking people out. Can I ask a sub-question? How long is it okay to look at a butt for? Is there a 3-second rule of some equivalent?